What's up guys, welcome back to another video. And so this video is to document, I guess you can say, my journey for coming to university, and I guess just documenting my life journey in general. So before I properly get into it, I'm just saying now that I'm not looking for any sympathy, and I'm not doing this to be like, oh, poor me, or anything like that. So what it is, basically, we did this task in uni, which we were basically just spoke about the journey that we've had to university, and I thought, why not make a video? So if you guys have been watching me for a while or watch me in general, you know, for a long time, for a short time, you guys know that coming to uni was a long time coming for me. Um, Even from, the first few videos on this channel, I was like, oh, uni. Obviously, London was my original choice. Um, but, I'm hopefully going to either go there for my master's, or if I don't go for my master's, I'm going to move there either way. So, even though I didn't get to the one that I wanted in the beginning, I had my heart set out on Plymouth for a while. So getting into Plymouth in general is just amazing, and I love it here. So everything all started out when technically I was in year 6, and so in primary school and in school in general, I was never really. I had a few friends, but most people didn't like me. Um, and to be honest, I just stuck to a few people, because through primary school and through high school and everything like that, um, again, I didn't have much friends. I didn't really speak to anyone. I got bullied a lot. Um, so again, started out in year 6 when I realised that I wanted to get into this industry. Um, and again, that comes from the bullying and having no friends. I'm not I'm not saying everyone that goes into this industry is, because bullied or having no friends. That's not why I'm going into it. Obviously, I've made videos before about why I'm going into this industry and things like that. But anyway, that ended up me writing my own scripts, because honestly, again, I didn't have many friends, so I had to do something. Which I started to write little scripts in year 6, and the few friends that I did have, um, did them with me. Um, which, you know, it it was a fun thing to do. And so in primary school, a lot of people got, piano lessons, singing lessons, because there was lessons that you could get in primary school. But I don't want to say they were really expensive. I think they were like classes, and it was like £200 for the year or something. But you know, it well, to be fair, it's quite expensive. Even now, I think that's expensive. So obviously, I was never really able to afford any. So, some of my friends did some flute lessons, did some trumpet lessons, um, throughout school. And again, I can't think of anyone of my friends or the people that I knew from primary school that actually went into it, you know, carried on afterwards. Um, so obviously I couldn't afford singing lessons, and I couldn't afford any kind of lessons. So I started going on YouTube and, you know, looking at vocal warm ups and things like that. But that wasn't properly until I got into maybe year 8. Um, so again, high school was awful, or secondary school, or whatever people want to call it. But that was awful, to be honest. So when I went up to high school, obviously year seven, I think you're around, what, 11 years old? Um, so throughout most of my high school time, again, I was properly bullied. And they were mostly people older than me. So when I was in year seven, it was like, 11 years old or 10 or however old I was. Um, it was usually by people that was in sixth form, which was 16, going on 17 or even older. Um, so anyway, I think it was around year 8 that I started to, I don't want to say properly get into trying to sing. Um, and actually not many people know that I did this. So again, from when I was in school, I went off and on. I'd never had singing lessons in school, but I kept going off and on, trying to teach myself, and then just figuring out what I wanted to do. So a few times, I don't think I made it a habit. I don't remember. I don't think that I did it all the time, but I think I did it a few times. So every time I was having a bad day in school or something like that, um, so there was this field behind our school. I think it was a farm field or something. And don't ask me why, but every time I was having like a bad day in school, I went to that field and just sang my heart out. To be honest, probably someone must have heard me. But yeah, I went to the field, sang my heart out, did, tried to do my own vocal lessons, tried to do things like that. And actually, I went there to work out a lot as well. I say that, but I never really got interested in it. But once once in school, I went to that field, sang my heart out, and um, just tried to do what I could. And also, when Musically was a thing, and when TikTok started out, and even YouTube. I've had a few YouTube channels over the years, and a lot of them have stopped. A lot, well, most of them, all of them, shall I say? So all of them that I stopped because the more I did it, the more I got bullied. Um, at one point, I can't remember what channel it even was, um, but one of them, I made a video called "Stop Bullying" or something, and I even took that down because I was bullied for it, which I probably shouldn't have because that's what the video was supposed to be, to help other people, but I was bullied into it. Again, so every time I had a bad day, I did that and sang at home. Over the years, I've tried to do as much piano as I can, but which I still want to do. But that wasn't something that I carried on with. Which, going back to Musically and YouTube and the TikToks, I've actually got a YouTube channel. Obviously, I don't use it now. There's a YouTube channel. I think it's still on YouTube. I don't think I got rid of it. It was a really, well, I want to say really old. It was a few years ago. So it's a channel that I had ages ago, with singing on it and vocal lessons on it. And to be honest, I forgot about it until not long ago. And the videos are still up. Last time I checked. I don't think many people actually know about that one, but that one was awful. Um, So if you want me to, show them one day, I probably will. But anyway, going from school and things like that. Um, so when you choose um, GCSEs, we in our school we had a choice to do part-time college for 2 years, which I did. When I chose my GCSEs, I did 2 years of part-time college, which was automotive engineering with metalwork and things like that. And then it was okay, but it definitely wasn't something I wanted to go into. Um, and then when I finished school, I went into my first year of college, which again was construction. So it wasn't performing arts. And for what I did of that, again, it was okay, but again, I'm saying again a lot, it wasn't what I wanted to go into. Um, so for what I did, because I don't think it was a full year, I think COVID started halfway through or 3/4 of the way through, and I had to finish the course early. But again, I've got a degree on engineering and I've got a degree on construction. And then finally, I got into singing and that again. So when I was in construction, I was telling people in that course that the year after I was going into performing arts, and you know what? Can't lie, they laughed at me. Most of them were like, "Oh, why? It's a girl thing. You know, you can be gay if you do that," which clearly you're not. Um, which, to be honest, some of it got to me, and I was debating it. But once I actually got into the course, it it was amazing, which ended me meeting so many people, which I've met so much more and made so much more really good friends in that course than I have done in my entire life of school and in my entire life anyway. As some of you might know, I'm from a small place anyway, so it's not really big. Um, but since being in that course, I've had so many opportunities. I've met so many amazing people, and I'm just thinking if I didn't join that course, what I would do with myself. And I honestly don't know what I would have done. Um, Again, so many people laughed at me from going into performing arts and things like that. They were like, oh, it's not going to work out. And it's, you know, things like that. And actually, it carried on afterwards. So, obviously, when I started out this channel, I wasn't that good of a singer. I feel like I'm better now, but as a lot of people made fun of my first few singing videos, which, to be honest, I don't blame them because they were quite bad. Um, but again, since starting and doing things like that, it can get to you, and things like that. But obviously, I just kept going, and the people in my life since joining the course is just amazing, and I had so much support and things like that. As some of you might know, I've been in, I think it was one or two short films for BBC. I've been in a Welsh show. I want to say that I didn't really have words in it. So either way, it doesn't matter how big or small a part, um, it wouldn't have been possible without being in that course, which I'm again really grateful for. um, say, but yeah, as I said, I've had so many opportunities and done so many things. Um, and things like that, which again helped me go to uni. So before I actually start talking about uni, I'm going to talk about the jobs that I've had in the past. God, I almost fell off the chair. I probably should have talked about them earlier in the video. But I've had a few jobs in the past, and most of them were okay, I guess. But I didn't really. It's a job, but because it's not what I love to do, it feels draining and things like that. So over the years, I've had a few jobs. So the first-ish job that I had was working in my Tides pub, which wasn't really a proper job because I was only like 14. So I was like a labourer or helping him there. And then the next job I got was in a car dealership. As I said, I did engineering in college. So actually, what got me a job there was I did my work experience from when I was in school. Again, which I probably should have said earlier. So I did my work experience with that company, and then they took me on over the summer, and which again it was hard work. I think I was 14 at the time. I'm not sure, and it was cash in hand, but it wasn't that much. I think it was like £20 a day that I made or something, and it was. I guess it's not worse for a 14-year-old, but I did quite a few hours. But so that happened for a while, and which I probably shouldn't have. And I think I got told off by it once or twice. I kept using my earphones, well, one earphone, and kept singing to myself. And there was a room, I think, where the machines and that were, which there. Sorry about that. So my storage keeps running out, so I have to delete things to carry on. So as I was saying, there was like a radio in one of the rooms, which, there was a lot of singing on it and things like that because, radio channels and things like that. And to be honest, I was just listening to them all day and I was singing to myself, and I can't remember. I think I got told off once or twice about it, which I probably said already. So going to the next job that I had, which I think it was after I finished school and things like that, because I was 17, I think, 16 or 17, which was in a B&B restaurant kind of pub. And this was, I think it was still in the COVID time, which obviously would be, but I don't think I think it was just after the first lockdown or something like that. But everything was still table service. So at the time, it was really busy. So I worked there and table service, and it was quite busy and things like that. And gradually started going up. So I did table service for a little bit, and then I was actually in the kitchen for I want to say, a few months as a kitchen porter. If you don't know what that is, it's a person that washes the dishes. So I was in the kitchen for a while, and obviously everyone starts somewhere. And then I went out front of house, and then I was on the bar, off and on for a while, because I actually worked there off and on. I want to say almost 2 years. I'm not sure, but it was a while, because, and this is when I was in college in performing arts, And then over the summer, I think it was last summer, or the summer before. Well, not the summer this year, that's just gone. The summer before, I think, last year. So it was a chicken factory in the town that I lived. It's closed down now, but there was a chicken factory, which most people, when they turned 18, they went work there because not a lot of people had the grades, and there wasn't many jobs. So the kind of thing back where I'm from is when most people turned 18, they just went to work there because they were always looking for staff because it was a chicken factory, so a lot of people were leaving just as quick as they were getting hired. So I stayed there over the summer, which, to be honest, I probably would have stayed there longer if I could have. But I had to go back to college, so I couldn't do the hours. Because I was thinking the hours that I was doing was 3 p.m. till midnight. Which at the time it was quite good money. This is before minimum wage went up and living wage went up. So I think at the time I was getting paid, I want to say £10.46, something like that. So it was quite good money. And obviously, again, I had to go back to college. So I went back to work in the pub that I worked in previously before going to the factory. Which, again, I was there for a few months again. And then I moved to another pub, which is actually, I want to say recently, but again, it was still last year. Again, so I moved to this other pub because I was offered more money, which I think before the wage went up, he offered me, well, it was definitely more money than I was on originally. So I got offered the living wage, and because I was I 19? Yeah, because I was 19, minimum wage for under 21 is, I don't know what it is now, £7 something. I probably wrong, but at the time, you know what? I think at the time it was like 6.54 or something like that. Anyway, so I was offered the living wage, so I went to work there, which stayed there for a few months, which takes me to working in Wetherspoons. So I've worked in a few bars. Let's just say this. So the two previous ones I said I worked in, they were both in my town. And there's only like 3 or 4 pubs in my town. So I worked in 50% of them. So Wetherspoons actually wasn't in my town. It wasn't far, but it was a bus away. And I think it was like a 40-minute bus journey away, something like that. But I did a lot of morning shifts. I think it was 8 a.m. onwards until like 5 or something. So when I had to do morning shifts, I either stayed at my friend's house the night before and then went there in the morning because he actually lived by where I worked. So I stayed there. I love how it's just turning into a full-on life story. But again, I'm not looking for pity. I'm not looking for anything like that. It's just to log my journey. So yeah, as I said, my friend lived by where I worked, but I didn't. And I did a lot of late nights as well, I want to say late nights, it's probably early mornings, because some nights didn't actually finish until like 3 a.m. or sometimes 4 a.m. And luckily I stayed at my friend's house, which was quite good because considering that, yeah, you know, it's like 4 a.m. and I was allowed to stay there. Which if I don't, if I didn't stay at his house, um, for after my shifts and things like that, I don't think I would have been able to get the job. Um, but you know, I'm grateful for that, and you know, I saved as much money as I could to come to uni. Definitely not as much as I thought I would, but you know, um, I'm getting by, just about. Um, so as I said, I worked in Weatherspoons. I tried to transfer here actually, but there's 4 Weatherspoons in Plymouth, so it's quite a bit. So I tried to transfer, but every single one of them either couldn't take me because they were fully staffed, or would take me but only on Christmas holidays and summer holidays, which I will be home. So that you know, there's no point me even trying. Um, what was I going to say? But yeah, so I tried to transfer, but there was none available. So I, you know, again saved amount of money, which I think it wasn't even that much. I think I saved just over £1,000 to come to uni, which isn't the best, but it's not the worst. Luckily, again, student loans and maintenance loans and things like that has saved me. So I'm quite lucky in that side. So I got a decent amount, which again I've budgeted. So after rent and things like that, I've budgeted and things like that monthly. But let's see how that goes. But so yeah, after that long life story, um, you know, I've moved. Um, which I forgot to talk about something again, which I, I keep forgetting to talk about things. So I keep putting them at the wrong times, but I'm going to say it now. When I got to college, obviously a lot of people know that I had singing lessons, which then I could actually properly afford my singing lessons on my own, which I have done for 2 to 3 years since I started the course. Well, read about, which again I probably should have said earlier. But if you know, I've had singing lessons, things like that, and I think the most I pay for a singing lesson is £25 an hour, which is quite good. So, singing lessons in Plymouth. I haven't started yet, proper singing lessons, but they're like double what I used to pay. I think it's like £45 an hour, which I am gonna do once I get a job and things like that. I am gonna pay that because I need more singing lessons. So I'm sorry that this video is just like, all over the place. But that's my life story. Um, a lot of people are like, oh, that's cringy, but it's just my life story from school up to now, and journey that actually brought me to Plymouth. As I said, it's all over the place because I forget to say something at one point, like the singing lessons, which I probably should have said like 20 minutes ago. But I said it now. And you know what? It's like 3 o'clock in the morning and I'm just rambling. So I'm going to end the video here. So, yeah, again, that's the story, um, of me. So, I hope you enjoy this video anyway. I hope it, helps in any way. As in, if you have a dream and you're working, part-time job now or a full-time job or minimum wage, it does get better. Again, because obviously I've had so many minimum wage jobs and decent paying jobs, which I weren't keen on, but you have to work them to climb. And I feel like I'm kind of climbing to the, not to the top, obviously, but I'm starting to go there, I feel like, over the last few years. But, yes. So, I probably should go to sleep because my pattern is awful as it is. So, thank you guys so much for watching this video, and I will see you in the next one.